As 2023 begins, the keen-eyed defenders at the Americans for Tax Reform organization have conveniently sounded their newest alarm for the new year, covering 5 of the key tax poisons that King Biden and his royalesque DC courtesans are increasing just for us. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC TV. I keep thinking about those 87,000 new IRS employees, and I wonder whether they're going to be wearing red coats as they come to protect us and give us their service. Well, ATR, the Americans for Tax Reform, they're on top of this, and Mike Pallets reports on these new cash grabs. He begins with an increase that'll slam millions of innocent Americans. It's a $6.5 billion natural gas increase stuffed into the absurdly titled Inflation Reduction Act and perpetuated ostensibly to curb methane emissions. Quote, the tax will drive up the cost of household energy bills. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the natural gas tax will increase taxes by $6.5 billion. The tax hike violates President Biden's tax pledge to any American making less than $400,000 per year. Biden administration officials have repeatedly admitted taxes that raise consumer energy prices are in violation of President Biden's $400,000 tax pledge. A letter to Congress from the American Gas Association warned that the methane tax would amount to a 17% increase on an average family's natural gas bill. Democrats have included a tax in the bill despite retail prices for energy surpassing multi-year highs in the United States. But of course, the Biden climate cult ritualistically will repeat their unfounded mantra that methane is contributing to a globe-burning dystopia. So we'd better just understand that this is for our own good. Second on the Pallets list for ATR is one that might be called, if you thought politicians already were making gas expensive, just wait till the new hikes arrive. And they are arriving now in the form of Democrats and rhinos imposing a 16.4 cents per barrel tax on crude oil and imported petroleum products. As Pallets observes, the tax will be passed on to consumers in the form of higher gas prices and, no surprise, quote, Biden administration officials have repeatedly admitted taxes that raise consumer energy prices are in violation of President Biden's $400,000 tax pledge. And he adds, quote, as if it weren't bad enough, Democrats have pegged their oil tax increase to inflation. As inflation increases, so will the level of tax. Third, we get to enjoy a $1.2 billion coal tax increase that'll push electricity bills even higher. Quote, the tax hike more than doubles the current excise taxes on coal production. Under the Democrat proposal, the tax rate on coal from subsurface mining would increase from 0.50, that's 50 cents per ton, to $1.10 per ton, while the tax rate on coal from surface mining would increase from 25 cents per ton to 55 cents per ton. JCT, that's the legislative branch's Joint Committee on Taxation, estimates that this will raise $1.2 billion in taxes that will be passed on to consumers in the form of higher electricity bills. And fourth, enjoy the vampires biting into your retirement and your freedom to engage in stock trades. Pallets writes that the new year will see the feds impose a $74 billion stock tax, as he says, which will hit your nest egg, 401ks, and pension plans. And he amplifies, quote, when Americans choose to sell shares of stock back to a company, Democrats will impose a new federal excise tax, which will reduce the value of household nest eggs. Raising taxes and restricting stock buybacks harms the retirement savings of any individual with a 401k, IRA, or pension plan. Stock buybacks help grow retirement accounts. Raising taxes and restricting buybacks would harm the 58% of Americans who own stock and more than 60 million workers invested in a 401k. An additional 14.83 million Americans are invested in 529 education savings accounts. Retirement accounts hold the largest share of corporate stocks, accounting for roughly 37% of the outstanding $22.8 trillion in U.S. corporate stocks. Hey, don't worry. Surely the constitutionally insulting Ponzi scheme of Social Security will be your refuge and your oasis of financial security when all this is taxed into oblivion. And fifth, a $225 billion corporate income tax hike, most of which will be passed on to consumers. Quote, Democrats imposed a 15% corporate alternative minimum tax on the financial statement income of American businesses reporting $1 billion in profits for the past 3 years. These American companies employ millions of Americans. The cost of this tax increase will be borne by working families in the form of higher prices, fewer jobs, and lower wages. A Tax Foundation report from last December found a 15% book tax would reduce GDP by 0.1% and kill 27,000 jobs. But remember, it's for our good. Just as it was in the colonial era, the politicians and cronies know much better than we do how to spend what we earn. They're the blessed ones, the enlightened ones, and their intent to steal our cash and steer our energy use towards inefficient and unreliable solar and wind, towards inefficient, expensive, and unreliable electric vehicles, and their desire to surveil us, control our currency even more, and to claim that they're reducing inflation even as they pump up federal spending by nearly $2 trillion more, spending that is debt-based and will require more money printing, not less money printing. Well, again, it's for our good. We don't get to decide any of this at all, individually, as free people. Welcome to 2023 in the land of the free, everybody. Same as it ever was. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Find us on Rumble, where they don't censor us. And of course, we'll see you at YouTube as well. We'll see you in the comment section. Remember, on YouTube, yes, they occasionally censor us. And do double check to make sure that you're still subscribed. Please share the videos with your friends. And find us on TikTok, on Instagram, at Parler, on Twitter. Lots happening on Twitter, and the Facebook page for MRCTV on Facebook, and of course, MRCTV.org, MRCTV.org, where we can share our ideas with one another and the whole team. You can find me on Gab at Gardner Goldsmith and on Twitter at Gard Goldsmith. For MRCTV, Happy New Year. Keep fighting for freedom. I'm Gardner Goldsmith.